Hello and welcome to another Bearded Geek toy review. In today's episode we wield the power cosmic and look at this Marvel Legends Silver Surfer figure. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're looking at the latest in the Marvel Legends comic book range. This is the Silver Surfer, the very popular character. First debuted in Fantastic Four number 48. He was the Herald of Galactus, and we've seen him twice in live action form. We saw him in Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, which came out I think in 2008, which was the sequel to that the live action version directed by Tim Story and had Chris Evans as the Human Torch before he became Captain America. Then obviously the Fantastic Four has been rebooted twice, and they are now in the MCU, and we saw a different version of the Silver Surfer, Shalabar, who was actually Norrin Radd's love, his girlfriend. So Norrin Radd is the original Silver Surfer. She then came along in the comics later on. I think there's a reason why they used her first in the comics, probably because once everything gets merged together into the main MCU, I think that's when we'll see the debut of the original Silver Surfer in the movies. There was also a very famous Fox Kids cartoon series in the 1990s that went alongside the Spider-Man series and the X-Men series, and is fondly remembered by quite a lot of people. So this is obviously the comic book range, $24.99. I think I got this from Star Action Figures for £22, but it has been showing up in local Smith's store around up and down the country. This is the 6-figure wave, so this is the second comic book wave. We did review 2 of the figures from the first wave, which were Ron the Space Knight and Ultimate Iron Man. So in this wave we've got Marvel's Beast, we've got Daredevil in his kind of like black costume, we've got the Silver Surfer, we've got Phoenix, the Rachel Summers version, and we've got Black Widow, and then we've got Feral. So there's the first issue of the Silver Surfer comic. Not his first appearance, but that was his first standalone comic book series. Obviously, he was a guest in the Fantastic Four originally. And that famous kind of like 3-part story, that was Fantastic Four 48, 49 and 50. That saw the debut of not only the Silver Surfer, but Galactus. And yeah, so that's the version of the character we've got here. Then this figure has been released a couple of times in Marvel Legends, but I think this is probably the best version. I've been holding out for a redone version because obviously previous ones are kind of like, they're still available on the market, but they don't have this kind of like striking silverness to them. So I think the paintwork on this guy is going to be really spectacular once we get him out of the box. And that's what we'll do. Let's get him out of the packaging and have a closer look. So before we actually look at the figure, there's a look at the image of the artwork behind the figure itself. A very nice Kirby-esque image. I'm not too sure if that's original Jack Kirby artwork from his first appearances. It may be John Buscema, who I know also drew the Silver Surfer in his first appearance in his first own comic book, which is what we've got here. This is the little facsimile that you get. Yeah, you know, it's a nice little accessory, but, you know, it's a bit pointless at the end of the day. It's not like you can open it and see, like, little pages inside. It just has the Marvel Legends and Hasbro logo on the back. But this is what this comic book range is all about. So there you go. You've got the Silver Surfer little comic book facsimile there. And the main other accessory is obviously his surfboard, which I'm a little bit surprised at. It's a little bit flimsy. I expected something a little bit thicker, but I suppose it's going to do its job for him to have on, for him to stand on. But yeah, I do have another Silver Surfer figure somewhere, which is from the 2008 Fox Fantastic Four sequel movie. And that's not in scale to Marvel Legends. That's like I think a 5.5 inch action figure. I did do a short about that, which I'll just drop a little bit of footage of that. So that is around about there. But there's the surfboard. A little bit disappointed about that blemish there. I don't know if that's part of the moulding or what's happened there. But obviously what we'll do is try and cover that up so you don't see it. Well, there's the surfboard, nice and shiny. So now onto the figure itself.
Oh, that is cool.
So here's the figure out of the packaging, and he does have two other sets of accessories which are swappable hands. So he comes with his hands there are fists, and you've got two kind of like gripping hands there that come there, which I suppose if you wanted him to, he could actually hold the comic if you wanted him to do that and have him reading about himself. Nice little thing there. And then the other two hands are obviously he's like kind of like he's when he's surfing through the cosmic galaxy. It's kind of like you know, he's as he's on his surfboard. So I think I might have him with those particular hands. I do like that. And one thing that does strike me about just looking at this figure here is obviously just how bright he is. I mean, just look at that. That is a very, very good paint job. Bar it being chrome plated, which obviously would probably wear off over time, or vac metalized, I think Hasbro have probably done the best alternative here by using a very, very shiny silver paint, which is good. It looks like it's a brand new figure. Obviously, there's pinless joints. I'm not too sure whether this is based on a previous body or whether this is a brand new sculpt. I think certainly the head is obviously a new sculpt there. And I do like the paintwork round his eyes. I think that's very, very striking there. But I'm not too sure whether this is an actual Spider-Man body. It's not the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, because he does look a little bit bigger than, taller than most other Spider-Man figures. If he was the Renew Your Vows one, he'd probably have, you know, toe pivots there on the end. But he doesn't. So you've got, you can move his kind of like feet and ankles there just below the knee. He's got a nice bit of movement there with the leg. You've got some upper thigh swivel there as well if you need it. You've got torso, waist there. You've got that ab crunch. It can move around, and obviously that paintwork is underneath there as well. They're not skimping on there. So he is covered in this very, very shiny kind of like silver paint all the way through. You've got the standard kind of like ball joints on the hands. You've got the standard kind of like articulation on the elbows, and then you've got a butterfly joint that's in the shoulders there. This one seems to be a little bit restricted there, not as free moving as that one. And then obviously the head is on a ball joint as well, which you can see right there. So lots of posability, lots of articulation for him when you've got him surfing on his surfboard. So I'm going to probably just pop this off here and pop that on there, and probably do the same with this one, because I think that's the image I want him to have as he's going along like that. So I'm going to pop him on his surfboard and see if I can get him into a kind of like really cool surfing position, and let's see what he looks like with the surfboard. So I've got him on the surfboard, and I'm a little kind of like perplexed about the peg joint for the foot. So that's obviously with him, the peg joint with under that foot there. And obviously you're getting kind of like, you know, you've got him like surfing through the cosmos. But I think he looks a little bit too far forward. And kind of like my take is that he's always a bit further back. So if you take him off there, and then if you use that peg joint and put him on there like that, then you're gonna have to bring him back a little bit there, because obviously I think the fact that this is rounded at the top there and that's more flatter suggests that this is the top end of the surfboard. So if you kind of like have him like that, I think that probably looks a lot better. So yeah, I'm kind of like not convinced with the way. I like these flat hands, I really do. But I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't know, they just look a little bit out of place. I don't know whether or not I'm going to put the fists back in. I'm going to try it the other way around and see what he looks like then. So there he is with both fists. And if I swap out that fist there on the back, let's just pop that out and then pop that in there. Yeah, that clips in. Now, does that look any better? That actually looks like, yeah, that looks better. I like that. I like that there. I think that's probably cool. Or does he look good with both of them? Trial and error. Let's just try taking that fist out, because again, that kind of looks just a little bit like that. So can we, I don't know, it just strikes me like he's doing the Egyptian walk. He's doing the sand dance. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with this guy, and obviously, yeah, it's a shame that peg isn't more like center, or there's not like kind of like an option there. Do you know what would have been great, Hasbro, if you'd put magnets on the bottom of the feet and you'd made this out of like metal, and that way you could have plopped him on wherever you pleased, rather than having that peg hole sticking out there. That would have been a great option, but that's probably far too expensive for you to do for a $24.99 figure. So I get that. So yeah, that's the Silver Surfer. I'm loving the look of him. I'm loving the shininess of him. He is a great character. I collected the Silver Surfer run that was done in the 1980s. I absolutely love that comic. That ran for like loads of issues. I think I've still got the first 50 issues somewhere. But yeah, I loved that kind of like the cosmic elements of the Marvel universe. So there you go, that's the Silver Surfer. So as I said, this is the latest version. Coming up is a little bit of footage of the old Fantastic Four figure, which I'll just drop into the video right now. And this is yet another magnificent creation from my Uncle Ian. Another one of his models. This one he obviously made some time ago. Obviously it's quite solid. I think he got it out of a model kit, but the whole bit under here is all like his own customized work, kind of like surfing on a kind of like galactic cloud there. And the paint job is all unique and his as well. And he gave this to my son Zach because he was having a bit of a clear out. He tends to do that a lot. He tends to clear out his old models and then hand them to either me or Zach. Not that we're complaining, but yeah, you can see obviously the difference there. This is the Marvel Legends figure that we've got here. So I'm actually going to see if I can try and mimic that similar kind of pose there, because I do like that. But yeah, this is a cool piece. I'm not too sure who made it, but it seems to be quite solid. So, and you can't see any joins on it, so I'm not too sure whether it was molded and it came like that. But he's very good at kind of like covering up all the kind of like joins of models when he's putting them together. So just the whole kind of aspect of him, and the paintwork on it is really, really cool. So that's another version of the Silver Surfer. Yet another masterpiece from my uncle. And I'm sure we'll be covering more in other videos. But there you go. That's a different version of the Silver Surfer. But here is obviously our latest one, which is the Marvel Legends Silver Surfer. So let me see if I can get him into a kind of like very similar pose, and then we'll wrap up the video there. So it's the age-old problem of articulation, and the thing is, you can't really kind of get him into that kind of pose because, one thing, he hasn't got the toe articulation on there, so you're not going to get him to really, really bend. And, you know, I'm at a point where, you know, because obviously that peg hole there is so, like, far back, again, it's giving that problem there. And if I was to probably put that up there, I mean, would that be any better? I don't know. Does that look any cooler? He looks too far forward now. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's just a little bit of a shame. Again, I think that surfboard could have been hugely improved. Let's just bring him in a little bit here. So if we put him back onto the back foot there and click that into place, and then I'll obviously have him on the surfboard like that. I think that's probably the best kind of like version that we're going to get of him. Probably surfing the Power Cosmic and finding the next world for his master Galactus. I think that's going to be probably how I'm going to have him posed. So yeah, pleased with the figure. I like it, but yeah, it could have been a lot better. Like I said, that surfboard could have been a lot bigger, a lot wider. Could have been made out of metal. You could have solved the issue of having him like stood just with that, where that peg hole is. It limits where you can put him. They just put like, you know, magnets in the feet. I don't think it would have broke the bank. I would have happily paid probably an extra £5 if they'd done that, because it would have been like perhaps sold as an extra feature. So better luck next time, Hasbro, but I still like the figure. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, then please leave us a like. It really does help out the channel. If you've not yet subscribed or hit that notification bell to be notified whenever we upload any brand new videos, then do so, and that way you won't miss out on our cool content. Another way to support me is to click the link below and perhaps buy me a coffee. Just a suggestion, but it does really also help out the channel as well. Thank you once again to everybody who contributes to the channel, all the subscribers and everyone who interacts with the videos. I really, really do appreciate it. Loads more cool stuff to come, but in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you very, very soon on Bearded Geek Toy Reviews. Bye now.
Now, a new being lives in his stead. Behold, the Silver Surfer.